The truth can take a lot of time. They are the innocent, locked up for years, even decades. The Rocky Mountain Innocence Center has helped free and find justice for the wrongly convicted. Now it's time for this man from Cheyenne.
That's where this picture's from.
Why did you go to prison?
Well, they accused me of a crime that I didn't commit, and then I went to prison for that crime.
What was it?
And then the crime was,
How to explain such a grown-up story, except to start at the beginning.
My name is Andrew Johnson. I was born in Arkansas, but I moved to Wyoming. I was born in 1949. My dad, he was more concerned about his kids. He didn't want us to be hurt. Things was going on back then, lynchings and beating up blacks, and it was really bad. Parents moved here. So it was exciting for us.
As a young adult, Andrew did struggle. His father died when he was 16, and he fell into trouble, but eventually found his way.
When we first met, we just clicked right away, and then it was like love at first sight. He was so full of life. He was so funny. That's what drew us together, because we were just joking and laughing, and he was like the sunshine I needed.
I had a family doing well. I was getting ready to get a raise. I went to bed and woke up, and the police was at my door, and my whole life changed from that day on.
Andrew was wrongfully convicted of rape in 1989, the rape of a white Wyoming woman. He was tried by an all-white jury and sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole.
You can't put a price tag on the loss of freedom, suffering, harm, loss of the everyday family life, watching your kid grow up, bringing her report cards home, teaching her the ways in life that you want your kids to grow up and be outstanding.
At the time, there was nothing that could be done to test the physical evidence.
I was assigned to Andrew Johnson's case as part of my work in law school with the Rocky Mountain Innocence Center.
Aaron Little got involved in this case while a student. He went on to be an attorney in Cheyenne and to be one of the heroes that helped to bring Andrew home.
Andrew's the true meaning of the prison litigator. He had to teach himself the law in the prison library in order to file his own petitions over and over again, much to the chagrin of every court that he could get in front of.
I've been to prison myself. I saw AJ on the yard with his briefcase running around, I was playing softball and he's fighting his case.
He was constantly reading law work, legal books, trying to fight his case.
They called me jailhouse lawyer. They called me Johnny Cochran at the time, because I used to walk across the yard with my briefcase.
That mindset, Andrew says, came from his mother, who told him to forgive his accusers and get on with the fight to come home.
She said, boy, you go to prison, you go there and telling people, and you tell them to forgive them, and you go on about your life, boy. And that's what I'm doing. I told them I'd forgive them and kept moving.
When we first accepted Andrew's case, there was not a DNA testing statute on the books in Wyoming.
And there was no way for us to get back into court on a DNA testing claim. There was no law in Wyoming that allowed that. So we actually spent the next 8 years trying to find a way to get Andrew back into court.
And in 2009, success. The Wyoming DNA testing statute passed, and Andrew had a way to prove his innocence. Still, freedom would take another 4 years.
Andrew Johnson's case is one of the most simple innocence cases that you can have. The DNA was available and in a position to be tested for DNA.
The person whose DNA matched was a fiance, an ex-boyfriend that was supposedly out of town, but his whereabouts couldn't be accounted for.
It's not Andrew Johnson. He's not there. There's no question that he's innocent.
Innocent, and finally, after 24 years, free.
Everybody was hugging, and they were excited. We were excited. Walking down the sidewalk, it was blizzarding that day. It was a cold day, but it was a warm day to me because it was freedom. Stop.
By now, Andrew was 63 years old.
We were really hoping that we could get Andrew out in time to see his mother.
And I told my mom, I said, well, I'm supposed to be getting out. I don't know which day because they won't tell us when they're going to transport us because we're prisoners. But I do know I will be in Cheyenne sometime this month. That's all I could give her.
Andrew's mother passed away just days before he was released.
We had a back and forth with the sheriff's office, who didn't want to escort him to the funeral. The day beforewards, I had to tell Andrew, I don't think we're going to be able to get you to go to the funeral. We filed one last emergency motion, and we ended up getting it granted within like an hour of the funeral starting.
I was allowed to go to the funeral, but I ended up going in prison garment. That really hurt me. It really hurt me. You could have put me in anything. On the last day of my mother's, me seeing her, my mother knows. I was there.
Music is this therapy. I'll say, well, play your drums, turn the music on as loud as you want.
How do you put a value on 24 years? When Andrew Johnson was convicted in this case, Ronald Reagan had just served his second term in office. By the time he won his freedom, Barack Obama was president. So much time and history gone by. The question for the Wyoming legislature is, how much is that time worth?
Instead of paying Andrew compensation, the state of Wyoming says that Andrew owes them money because he wasn't able to pay child support while he was in prison. And the reason he couldn't pay his child support is because he was wrongfully incarcerated.
Andrew does deserve compensation from the state of Wyoming. He lost jobs, he lost Social Security income, he lost the chance to see his grandchildren born.
You're gonna jack me too, all right.
At 70 years old, Andrew is still working. He's working as a janitor, which is incredibly tough and demanding work. And this is why compensation statutes are so important for the wrongfully convicted.
The Wyoming legislature did consider a compensation law shortly after Andrew was released.
Most of the people in the community were very supportive of this bill in a general sense, and about Andrew in particular. The bill had sailed through the Senate and had gone well through the House Judiciary Committee. Everything came to a head on the floor of the Wyoming House of Representatives.
The prosecutor spoke with legislators, gave them some misinformation about the innocence claim, the nature of the DNA.
If you ask the prosecutor, he will tell you with hand over his heart, this man is not innocent.
We're making policy based on what one guy puts his hand on his heart and says that he thinks is the truth.
There was a famous football player who was famous for the phrase, if the glove doesn't fit, you must acquit. The way that this statute would read now, the state of Wyoming would be obligated to pay compensation because the glove didn't fit.
I was shocked to hear the comparison of Andrew to O.J. Simpson. The cases have almost nothing in common with each other. There is one similarity between O.J. Simpson and Andrew Johnson, which is that they're both black men.
And it was heartbreaking when it didn't pass. It's tragic that he's got nothing.
To go through a committee.
Andrew still holds out hope.
I have a lot of pride in Wyoming. There's good people here in Wyoming. They should all get together and try to do the right thing. That's all that I hope for the future, that they come to a conclusion. Let's do the right thing in this situation for our human beings in this great state of Wyoming.
Oh, I can't wait for him to retire. It would take that extra rock he's been carrying, you know?
Thank God for the Innocent Project. If it hadn't been for them, I'd still been in prison.
It just comes over me and I'm like, we're laughing. And I'm thinking, he's really home. Is this really real?
And that's what we see when we sit there at each other and I look at her and I smile. She looks at me and we smile and we crack a little joke. Say, look where we are now. Give me a hug, honey. Just okay.
We're gonna make it. We're gonna make it. We're gonna make it.